meeting scheduled. This will go. They had the county planning agenda. And I was like,
They did that. They did that.
Okay. Very good. I've asked Tom Flanagan to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the October 5th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Before we get started, I would like to request that we pull item unfinished business. There's still some details that need to be worked out. Essentially, the contract that we got has not been signed, and it hadn't been reviewed by our legal staff, and I'm very disappointed that we're having to defer unfinished business to another date. So I would like to defer that to a week from today. That would be October 12th, 2017, and remind everyone the contract should go through our legal department and they should be signed. Pretty simple stuff. So, is that okay?
Yeah. Is that a motion?
Yes, it is.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made to defer the unfinished business to finish it a week from today. Made by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. First item of business, please.
Item 1, proclamations, presentations. Number 1, introduction and discussion with Jason Lamprecht regarding the Silver Lake Township Treasurer position.
Yes, Commissioner Bueller.
I do not see Mr. Lamprecht here unless he is, excuse me, in the back. Hiding behind people. So maybe we could put that off until a little bit later in the meeting. Just
Very
hold
good.
on it.
Very good.
I might ask Jane maybe if you could see if there was a phone number and just try to contact him. Would that be okay?
Next item, please.
Item 2, under proclamations, presentations, recognition of Daryl Stewart, Parks and Recreation Community Outreach Employee on his recent Character Recognition Award.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Fowler, Hensler Parks and Recreation. As you're aware, we have a employee who was honored yesterday by Topeka City of Character. We're so proud of Daryl Stewart. We're going to do this again this morning. Daryl was nominated for Champion of Character. The character quality exhibited is generosity, compassion, benevolence, and availability. So for 32 years, Daryl and his wife have mentored foster children in their home. This was Daryl's way of honoring his late mother's wishes for him to have a better life after she passed away when Daryl was just 15. On his own from that time, Daryl worked nights at Jostin Publishing, got himself to school each morning, came home and slept, and then went to work again. Daryl bought few items for himself, instead investing his earnings into the children so that they could have a better life. For years, he has ran the Hillcrest Community Center. He held the philosophy that the more time kids spent at the center doing something positive and productive, the less time they spent on the streets where they could get into trouble. So today, Daryl has become a key to Shawnee County Parks and Recreation's link to the community, and we're very proud of him and wanted to make sure that we honored him one more time today. And this was what Daryl had received yesterday at the Safe Streets meeting. So.
Thank you again. I just wanted to say one thing while I had the chance. I just wanted to, I have a few of my coworkers here. I just wanted to tell you guys, this is an attest to the great things that our department is doing. It's not just me, it's us as a team that enables me to do some of the things that I do in the community. And I appreciate all the hard work that all of them are doing, and it gives me the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Hey, wait. Daryl, if you come, I read your story and I was inspired. I was wondering if the commissioners could get a picture with Daryl for the newspaper. I think it would help our reputation if we did. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Jane. Next item, please.
Unfinished business has been pulled. Item 3, consent agenda.
Questions or comments about a rather lengthy consent agenda?
I do not have any questions. I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $732,818.75. The highlights out of the voucher report are infrastructure payment to Bettis of $180,681.16, holding accounts with the state of Kansas, motor vehicle funds $139,393.17, Parks and Recreation of $75,848.29, Public Works $71,762.43, and then employee withholdings of $96,327.37. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers and would move for their approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the voucher report by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Health Department. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C325-2017 with Mood Media to install an overhead paging system for the J.P. Lewis building at a one-time cost of $6,789.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Ochs from the Health Department. This is an overhead paging system for our new building, the J.P. Lewis building. We do not have any kind of overhead paging capability at this time, so we would ask for you to approve this agreement so Mood Media can come and install that for us. We did get 3 bids. This was the lowest bid, and we worked with IT on this. And I'd be happy to answer any questions, or I'd be happy to have Pat Oblander come up and answer any questions.
This extends throughout the complex, is that correct?
Yes, sir, it does. And it's a pretty big building. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Commissioners?
I don't have any questions, and I would move for its approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to begin negotiating an agreement according to the recommended order of preference from the Professional Services Selection Committee for Gage Park Master Planning Services with funding from multiple sources to be identified in future project budgets.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. This is our order of preference for and our request to begin negotiating to have a firm come in and provide master planning services. I wanted to quickly kind of go through, since we've talked about this last kind of review for you and the public, the process that we've already gone through. If you recall, earlier in the spring, right before summer, we came to the County Commission, asked for permission to begin this process. On May 23rd, we had a mandatory pre-proposal meeting. All of the interested parties came by so we could explain to them in detail what it is we were going to be looking at for this process. The bids then were submitted and reviewed. We put together a review committee that involved numerous people. This master plan is not just going to be for Parks and Recreation and not just construction improvements to Gage Park. It also includes many things like possible operating plan and all of those type of things. For years, the world-famous Topeka Zoo, the Kansas Children's Discovery Center, us, other smaller partners, all operated in our own little silos. The Topeka Zoo is never going to be all it can be. Gage Park's never going to be all it can be unless we all begin working together on some of these type of things and grow together. So with that, what we did was we had numerous people from both Parks and Recreation and the private sector to help review these processes and ask questions. John Boyd, who's our our green space superintendent, Vicki Brocky, who's head of the Topeka Civic Theater and Academy, Bill Busher, who is from our advisory board, but he was there to represent the Civitan Club of Topeka. Linda Kennedy, a new member on our foundation, joined this process as well too. Jim Martin, who almost makes as many appearances down here as I do, was a tremendous amount of help and represented our advisory board. Mike McLaughlin, our communications supervisor. Rachel Meyer did a tremendous amount of work on this and pulled all of the pieces together, and she's here, and I'll let her say a few things if she has anything to add. Also, Danae Moser from the Children's Discovery Center, Brendan Wiley from the Topeka Zoo, and Bill Rippon, our park project manager. We reviewed all these the proposals submitted. We visited, interviewed each of these. We then submitted all the work that we had done to the county's Professional Services Selection Committee. That was what was all done in the process to get to where we are today here on this. With that being said, the order of preference has Confluence as the first person to contact, and we would be reaching out to them with multiple people, because I don't think this would just be Shawnee County funds that pay for this. There'll be a combination of funds, and that's why I state that in the memo there, that the zoo, the Discovery Center, all of the different partners will participate in some way. That being said, be happy to answer any questions, and Rachel Meyer is here too if you have any detailed questions about the process that we went through on this.
Questions, Commissioner Cook?
John, on the third page, or I guess the second page, you talked about kind of a remaining schedule for the RFPP. Can you kind of walk through with us what are our future steps? Where do we go from here after this? Provided that you guys approve my request today, we'll sit down with Confluence and begin negotiating a contract with them. We hope to have that done still here in early fall. As you can see from the dates that I listed there, we're getting kind of pushed up against staying on schedule, but we're only a few days, week behind or so. We can be able to catch up fairly easily. But we'd also then probably sometime in still this fall be able to issue a notice to proceed to begin that process. And once we give the notice to proceed, a tremendous amount of public engagement process will happen this fall, this spring, and that time with numerous public meetings, stakeholders brought in to weigh in on all of this as well too. So the public should not be concerned that we're just going to come in and start ripping up roads or rearranging the park without any sort of discussion.
Oh no, a major component and why we had that
mandatory pre-bid meeting too, was to stress that the public engagement process will be very, very thorough, and there'll be numerous opportunities around the community, both on-site visits where they could come by and see what we're talking about and weigh in, to possibly even online surveys, phone surveys. We're going to bend over backwards to try to engage everybody in the community that has something they want to say.
I think it's just maybe important to note, Commissioners, I see Bill Rippon sitting in the crowd, and Mr. Rippon's an active participant in the history of Topeka, and one of the things that I pick up on is how Gage Park has changed, and it is constantly changing and evolving every decades, and Bill's a great historian, and I think that being able to maintain our heritage, maintain those parts that are very, very priceless memories, but still being able to make the park means something for the next generation. And so having that in community engagement is very important.
Absolutely.
Yes, Commissioner.
John, I'm not familiar with Confluence, the company, but could you kind of go over some advantages, why we're going external on this and not having Parks and Rec staff internally do the plan?
We don't have those capabilities to perform the entire thing in-house. Another main reason is we don't sometimes know what we don't know. It's good to go out and see what other places around the community, not the community, around the country are doing and how they're setting some of these up. For instance, you probably see in there the word conservancy, and that'd be an operating model. That is something that was foreign to us until we began our work with our master plan for the department. But there's those type of things there. But this, our staff will be heavily involved in it. But this will bring professionals who do this from regionally to nationally to come in and help us do that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gage Park is important, and I think it's important, as Commissioner Cook pointed out, from a historical perspective, and also it was nominated the best park in, best places to be in the Capital Journal. I will be interested as we go forward in how much it costs and how we spread the funding out. That will be important, that the zoo and others, Children's Discovery, everybody has a piece of the funding.
Yes, absolutely.
And everybody participates in the design of the future of Gage Park. So-
I don't expect that process to be equal, but I do think it ought to be fair.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Other questions for John?
None. Then I'll move to approve the request and negotiate with Confluence.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 326-2017 with TARC, setting out the conditions for the 2017 through 2021 Winter Wonderland event with a donation from TARC of a minimum of $16,000 annually.
Commissioners, I'm going to turn this over to Shawn Osbourne here, but this is, I just wanted to note that earlier in this meeting, you guys recognized one of the County Parks and Rec employees for being kind, caring, and giving, but just so you didn't think we were all that way, Shawn has his first paycheck that the Shawnee County ever gave him, and he still hasn't cashed that one yet, so go ahead, Shawn.
Good morning, Commissioner. Shawn Osbourne, Parks and Recreation. The contract before you is with TARC. This one's a little different than we've done in the past because we actually are planning out in 2018, 2019, and 20, as you can see. Part of that is because most of the stuff that we have in place will not change unless two parties agree. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, or if you want any details on what's coming up, Sherry Lundry is here as well with TARC.
Questions or comments regarding this partnership, which is tremendous?
Any questions?
Commissioner?
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Since we have Ms. Lundry here, she can give us any previews or tidbits about what might be coming up. Because I know they're always working on something new.
Well, thank you all very much for allowing me to be here today. But this is the 20th year for Winter Wonderland, so we're going to be celebrating 20 years, and we do have some special things going on with the Topeka Capital Journal. There will be an online contest to vote for your favorite display, and we're doing that top 20 display, so that will be announced, starting the countdown with the final number one being announced on New Year's Eve, the last day of Winter Wonderland. We are giving away window clings with every card that goes through that says, I supported TARC at Winter Wonderland 20, so when you go through, you will get a window cling. We have an e-store this year where you can order online, you can order apparel. We have t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and coats. So if you want to support Winter Wonderland that way, we do have a partnership with with Go Blue Kansas here in Topeka. So you can go online and do that. We have a new sign that will be at 29th and Kroll that will be animated with a flashing arrow to point the direction so people will know where to go, like they don't, but they will. And let's see, we have, sponsorship is rolling right along, and we have been incredibly blessed with support from the community and region. So again, thank you all very much. Do you have any questions for me?
Groups that want to come and volunteer or help, how do they contact?
They can contact myself or Bree Holmes Daniels, who is also an employee at TARC, and you can go online and do that, or you can just give us a call and we'll get you set up. So very easy.
I know our sheriff's deputies are always in the running to try and see if they can raise the most.
Yes, they like to be the winners of the Razzle Dazzle contest. And this year, that is another, thank you for saying that, because that reminds me, we also have custom-made Razzle Dazzle glasses this year for the 20th. They will look different. So those are on their way to us right now. So very different looking, same kind of glasses, but they look very different and honor and recognize the 20th anniversary. So they will be out there, I'm trying to think, the 16th of December. Yeah, they'll be there the 16th. The SWAT team will be there the 16th of December to work the gate. So we appreciate their help as much as well. So, and your department is fabulous. So thank you.
They are fabulous.
What's the first date?
November 22nd. The 17th of November is the walkthrough night. So if you want to come walk through Winter Wonderland from that and get it from that perspective, that's Friday night, the 17th, from 6 to 8. If you want to ride your bike through, you can come at 8 o'clock on that same evening and ride your bike through. Then the next night, November 18th, is the Sunflower State Games Winter Wonderland 5K. So, and that starts at Reynolds Lodge. And then we open for cars on the 22nd, and that goes through December 31st. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Thank you all very much.
I'll move approval of the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Bueller, and that's seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Shawn.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D, Public Works, number 1, consider approval of a project budget in the amount of $8,622,774 for an improvement and widening of Southeast 29th Street on the east end of Kansas Turnpike Authority overpass. Budget to a point 600 feet west of Southeast Kroll Road. Approval of an alternate budget in the amount of $887,976 to construct a 12-inch pedestrian bike trail to be constructed as part of the Southeast 29th Street road widening project, and authorization to negotiate an amendment to contract C-262-2016 with Finney and Turnip Seed Transportation and Civil Engineering LLC to provide final design services for this project.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Block with Public Works and Solid Waste. As you may recall, we are currently under contract with Finney and Turnip Seed to do a design project to improve primarily the Deer Creek Bridge that's below the Lake Shawnee Dam on Southeast 29th Street. And as part of that project, we are improving the roadway, 29th Street, from basically Granger Road up to Wittenberg Road. At the time we put this project together, that is all the funding that we thought we would have available to do this work. As we've progressed along on other projects that we have ongoing, several of those will be coming under budget. And as we starting to estimate what those numbers are going to be, we believe now we will end up having, along with a combination of other funding sources, we would have the ability to complete 29th Street from the KTA Bridge all the way out to basically where we left off at Kroll Road. We, as we have to look at this, we feel it'd be quite advantageous to be able to finish this corridor off in one project and hopefully get some economies of scale by doing so. What we would look at doing is widening, this roadway gets about 13,000 to 14,000 vehicles per day, so it's very heavily traveled. What we would be looking at doing is widening it to 5 lanes all the way, again, from the KTA Bridge out to Kroll, and that would make that entire stretch 5 lanes, which could really use it. So as we got to looking at this, we have identified a funding strategy that we believe will be able to fund this entire project as listed in the memo. One thing I do want to point out, as part of the funding, we had listed some of the monies from the current half-cent sales tax program. As you may recall, this commission approved a resolution to take the residuals from the 2004 half-cent sales tax program. This commission passed a resolution to take the residuals from the 2004 half-cent sales tax program and apply them to the Willard Bridge project. As we are nearing that completion, those residuals that were going to be applied to the Willard Bridge are more than we actually need to finish that project out. We believe we'll have, we believe from those residuals, we'll have an excess of about 1.8 million that is not needed at the Willard Bridge. So what that would require then, and to keep in compliance with the ballot question that the voters approved, we would then come before you to, I guess, rescind and revise that resolution to then put that excess from the residuals that were to go to Willard Bridge to the Deer Creek Bridge. So it would still be in compliance. It'd still be a bridge project, which would be in compliance with the ballot question. So with that, if we just do the roadway and the bridge all the way, that is estimated to be, and this is the first project budget that's listed in the memo, about $8.6 million. Now with that, we also know that Parks and Recreation Department is in the process of trying to extend the Deer Creek Trail down from, I think it's up by Reesers right now, I think is where it ends, down to Dornwood Park, and then ultimately get to the Lake Shawnee Trail system. So alternatively, we looked at, and we would be able to include this in our design cost, is the design of putting a 12-foot wide bike pedestrian path attached to the KTA Bridge. Our consultant has had discussions with representatives of the KTA Bridge. They would be on board and would be supportive of doing that. To do that, and that was what the alternative or the alternate project budget is, that to add that widening to the KTA Bridge is estimated for construction only about $888,000. Funding for that would have to be determined of where that would come from, since that's really not a Public Works road project. But we could include the design and get it designed so it's ready to go. That would, I guess, be that's the direction we would like to go, because that would really, not only would it finish this corridor off from a roadway standpoint, it would really make a great access to the Lake Shawnee Trail system north of the turnpike there. Our funding, as mentioned in the memo, would come from a variety of sources. The excess sales tax monies that we think we're going to have left over, again, from the Willard Bridge residuals, from the previous half-cent sales tax program, the current countywide half-cent sales tax program, also using Federal Obligation Authority funds for 2018 and possibly 2019, and then some funds we have in our Public Works operating budget from projects. We know each year we get the $650,000, have been getting that allocated from the commission. The monies that are in that fund would be used for this project. And then there's also, we expect some We are expecting our Urish Road project to be coming in under budget, so the excess monies from that project could be transferred into this project budget. So that is what we are hoping to accomplish. So I'm here to stand for any questions that you may have regarding this. I know it's a big project. There's no doubt about it. It's a big project. We would look at constructing it. We'd like to get, if approved, we'd like to get going on design, renegotiate our contract with Finney and Turnipseed to expand their scope of services. But then we would be looking at constructing it over a 2-year period in 2019 and 2020. So if there's any questions, I would be happy to try to answer them. And if I don't have the answers, Mr. Flanagan's here, and he might be able to provide them for me.
Are there questions for Tom about the project? Commissioner Cook.
Tom, I think this was a good plan to set forth, I mean, for the future of Shawnee County. The connectivity is something we've looked at for a number of years. My question, and it may be a little bit premature because we're just setting the project budget today, but as we move forward, is it going to be phased in over a series of phases, do you anticipate, or stretches, or how would we do a project like this?
Well, it would be, I mean, it would be, like I said, it would be a 2-year construction period. About the only phasing I think I know right now is that we would be looking at doing the Deer Creek Bridge during the very, very early winter months. When I say early winter, I mean January, February, to try to get that portion of the project done before spring and before people are really starting to go out to the lake. Beyond that, that's something we'll have to figure out as we go along, so I really can't answer that.
It's premature, I mean, we're just setting a project budget at this point, but just to kind of thinking ahead.
And hopefully authorizing us to renegotiate or negotiate the amendment to Finney and Turnipseed's design contract. But
Commissioner Bueller.
Just don't have a source of funds for the KTA bridge modification, correct, at this point?
Correct, at this point.
So have you had discussions with the Turnpike Authority or on potential?
They will not.
They will not
No,
participate?
no, and I would not expect them to.
So other sources of dollars, what are we anticipating? What are you looking?
Well, I guess I would be looking to Parks and Rec to figure that out. To be candid.
That's what we need to know.
To be candid, that's.
Commissioner.
Good answer, Commissioner Cook.
I know Bill Rippon's, again, here recognizing Bill's worked on with pedestrian grants and applications, and I think we put in for grants routinely on those. And if I misstate, I expect Bill to jump up, but this might be one that we would look at applying for through the federal funds, and it's administered through the MTPO. Is that, Bill, help me out here. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And if nothing else, like I said, is what we can include as far as Public Works is a design for that.
Right. So, but what I'm curious, I know that there are many who apply for those funds, for those those trail grants. So is Parks and Recreation have other projects that would then, compete with this request potentially? Because we're looking at the construction cost of $887,000, is that correct? For the...
Yes, that's the estimate right now.
So, like you said, design could be...
Would be
covered.
included in...
Regarding future trails programs, we are in the process now of looking to see what the other potential future projects are for trail construction. But yes, we would be competing with several other projects that we already have.
And usually that's an 80-20 match?
It is. It's 80-20 match for the construction, and then we're responsible for our own design.
Right.
And
But this amount here is 100%, right? I mean, this isn't anticipating at 80-20. This is the 887 is...
Yes, that would be 100%, and that includes some contingency. And the reason there's no design cost listed in that number is because we would cover it in our project.
Commissioner Bueller.
Commissioner Cook.
I know that we had made some design plans looking at extending the Deer Creek through Dornwood to come out on 29th Street. And if we are able to complete that, it's my understanding that both the the people that review the grants, if we're connecting, there's a higher priority placed to connecting trails, and especially this would be a connector.
Connecting the Lake Shawnee Trail to the network of trails that we already have is a primary goal of MP, the Metropolitan Transit thing. And I would like to add that it doesn't show very well here, that this property right here is Robinson Park that was just recently donated a little over a year ago to us. And we received, and I don't know if it's been announced for sure publicly yet, but there was a grant to connect from Reesers up to Dornwood. So we're halfway there. At some point in time, we would be able to bring this over and connect to 29th Street. So I would think those would be near the top of our future priority trails projects.
And one thing I do need to point out, as part of the roadway project, we will be constructing the bike ped path from the KTA bridge on. So we will have I think a 10-foot wide path from the KTA bridge coming and connecting into the lake. So basically what we would need to have is to get that connection across the turnpike.
Right. And I'm in complete support of that, but the contingency, where do we get those dollars if we don't receive a grant through KDOT? What is the contingency if we do not?
Well, the contingency is that we have it designed, could have it designed.
Okay.
And
So you could
I know
construct this later.
we could, preferably we can put our heads together and figure out where to find some funding for it.
Right.
But the design, if we get it designed, it will be setting us up to do that. I think, at least.
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
The action today is just to set the project budget, and then from this, once we set the project budget, putting the Parks and Rec and Public Works and everybody else involved in TPO and how we come up with our funding for it.
And like I mentioned too, we would also like to renegotiate or amend our design contract so we could begin the design of the whole section, including the KTA addition, KTA Bridge addition.
I think, and we talked about this, I think it's going to be clearer, the funding, as we move forward shortly on it. I think it's important that sales tax money is dedicated to the bridge. I know recently there have been 2 instances of proposals to spend sales tax money on things that weren't on the ballot. And so I want to make sure that we spend the money on bridges that was on the ballot.
Right.
Because I think spending money that wasn't supported by the voters is unacceptable. So please keep that in mind.
Yes, and that is the reasoning why if we have excess residuals from the Willard Bridge, why we would want to amend that resolution to put the excess to the Deer Creek Bridge.
Okay.
But if I may
Yes.
ask a question, but those proposals were from another governing body, not this governing
No,
body, correct?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Wanted to make sure. Okay.
They certainly were. Thank you for clarifying.
All right, I'll move approval of the project budgets and authorization to negotiate the amendment to the contract for Finney and Turnip Seed.
Second.
Is that everything?
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Commissioner Bueller, for
Thank you.
clarifying that. It needed to be clarified.
Okay.
Next item, please. I think Jason is here.
He is.
If you would, we'd love to hear from you, sir.
We need to have our Madam Clerk note that we're going back.
Okay.
This would be introduction and discussion with Jason Langford regarding the Silver Lake Township Treasurer position.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for your time, and I apologize for the delay this morning. By the time I realized I was in the basement of the City of Topeka building, I wasn't going to make it in time, so I appreciate taking the time today. There's a treasurer position with the Silver Lake Township, and I've applied for that position. I was asking what I'd like to visit with the board a little bit today. If you have any questions for me, I am about an 8-year resident of Shawnee County. I would bring a good mathematical background to the treasurer position. I'm the former state statistician with the Department of Agriculture before they moved out of Topeka, and so I would bring that to the table as far as the treasurer is concerned. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer anything that you'd have.
Commissioner Bueller.
You ever run for elected office or served in a school board or anything like that?
I have done some work with my church in Silver Lake and in past residences in other states. I've also been on boards for the local Boy Scouts, when my sons were in Boy Scouts. Also, I was on, for when a community board, I can't remember what it's called I was president of our community board where we had to address colors of houses and that type of thing.
Neighborhood association.
Neighborhood association type thing, yeah. But that was back in Virginia, and that was, well, we won't go there. But anyway. I don't think I'll have any type of issues like that in the Silver Lake Township.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner Cook?
I do not.
Thank you for your willingness
Sure.
to serve, and thank you for being here this morning.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to make some decisions toward the end of the meeting, so if you want to stay, you sure can.
Okay, we'll do it. Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
Next item, please.
Item E, facilities maintenance. Number 1, consider approval of request to submit an RFP for pricing of trade services, including electrical, mechanical, plumbing, minor construction, carpentry, painting, and drywall and trenching.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. Trade services agreement that we entered in last year is expiring at the end of this month, and I'd like to go out for bids on those again. What trade service agreements allow us to do is on the smaller day-to-day type maintenance issues is kind of be proactive and get a negotiated price for the hourly rate or overtime rates of the various trades and save us a few dollars on that end of the smaller things. So they'll guarantee their prices usually for a year and look forward to getting some better rates than we even got last year.
Questions for Bill?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Bill. Next item, please.
Item F, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C328-2017 with Swank Motion Pictures, Inc., authorizing the Department of Corrections to show video presentations to inmates and juveniles at a cost of $2,040.91 with funding from the offender commissary account.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is just an annual review or renewal of a contract that allows us to prevent us from violating any performance licensing when we show movies for strictly programming, educational movies, and things like that to the inmate population. This is a contract we've had with this company for many, many years. Again, it was brought to our attention that we needed to have this type of contract well over 15 years ago to refrain from violating any type of performance licensing. This contract and everything has been reviewed by the county counselor. The money comes from the inmate commissary account, meaning that the inmates pay for it themselves, and I'd stand for any questions you may have.
I'll move to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item G, appraiser. Number 1, acknowledge receipt of the 2016 real estate appraisal sales ratio study from the Kansas Division of Property Valuation, indicating that the Shawnee County appraiser has met statistical performance standards established for both the commercial, industrial, and residential classes of property, and receipt of correspondence from the Kansas Division of Property Valuation. The county appraiser's office has achieved substantial compliance after a statistical and procedural compliance review.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steve Bauman, County Appraiser. These two letters that you are acknowledging are from the Director of Property Valuation Division of the Kansas Department of Revenue. The Property Valuation Division is our oversight agency. They're responsible for overseeing the operation of all Kansas County appraisers, ensuring that we are operating within acceptable standards and parameters for fair and equal treatment of all taxpayers. Our office is judged on both statistical and procedural measures that we must meet in order to be found in substantial compliance. The first letter that you received is in regards to our statistical compliance rating, and we are primarily scored on a residential and commercial classifications of property. These statistics are measures of our appraised values to the sale prices that occurred throughout last year. The two important numbers in this letter for which we are scored are the median ratio and the coefficient of dispersion. Median ratio is found by dividing the appraised value by the sale price of each valid market arm's length transaction. The standard for the median ratio is that it falls within 90 and 110%. Closer to 100, the better. A number below 90 would represent that our values are being underappraised. A number over 110 would represent that our values are being overappraised. Our residential classification was at 96.7, and our commercial classification was 101.8. Both of these numbers represent that our staff did an excellent job in accurately appraising the appraised or the county property. So it's a great job, great indication of what they're doing. The coefficient of dispersion is also an important statistic as a measure of uniformity of these appraisals, how close our sales ratios are to the median. The standard for the COD is 20 or less in order to be found in compliance. 9.1 is our residential COD and 18.6 commercial. These are some of the best numbers in the state, I can tell you. So the second letter addresses both the statistical and procedural compliance review, and it's called substantial compliance. Virtually all aspects of the appraisal process are reviewed and analyzed for proper procedure and technical application. This review is comprehensive, to say the least. Everything from proper note codes and inspection frequencies to detailed review of our model development and application into our cost, sales, and income approaches. It's very thorough. Points are awarded based on our compliance to the different aspects of the process. 50 points are possible for the statistical side. 50 points are possible for the procedural side, for a total of 100 points. We received a score of 92, which is an A-. We have a little room for improvement. Not much, but a little. This last review cycle, we lost 4 points due to invalid note codes on our some of our land entries. It's pretty rough to lose all 4 points for land valuation for a few note codes that we needed to get cleaned up. So we're in the process of that as well, also. As well as we lost 4 points for being a little behind on parcel inspections. And I've addressed that this last year with, for which you've also assisted me in that by allowing me to hire an appraiser. So we're working towards resolving those issues. Overall, I couldn't be more proud of our staff and the accurate work that they accomplish. We're the third largest county in the state, and these are the best results of the largest 5, so I'm quite proud of the work that they do. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
Good work.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, congratulations too. This is really important because what it does is it gives assurance to the public that there's fairness and consistency to all taxpayers in Shawnee County. I think that's really important.
That is exactly what it's saying, yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Or acknowledge receipt?
Motion to acknowledge receipt.
Second.
Motion made to acknowledge receipt by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, and thank your staff, Steve.
Thank you, I will.
Next item, please.
Item H, Sheriff's Office, number 1, consider approval of sales agreements, contract C-329-2017 through C-332-2017 with Myers Brothers for purchase of a tire balancing machine, tire changing machine, and related accessories at a cost of $21,493.17.
Good morning, Commissioners. Captain Hubler with the Sheriff's Office. Our current tire changing and tire balancing machines are probably around 20 years old. We aren't able to balance some of our truck tires, etc. Everything's well overdue for a change, and we'd like to move forward with this purchase. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions for Captain?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
Move approval.
A second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Captain. Have a good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Next item, please.
Item I, Administrative Services, number 1, consider approval of request to offer a candidate the position of Deputy Financial Administrator at Step 11, resulting in compensation of $96,096.24, including benefits.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. As you know, I've been looking to fill the position of Deputy Financial Administrator. We have an excellent candidate that, as I laid out in my memo, has excellent experience, over 20 years in financial management, 17 of those years in governmental accounting. She is a graduate of the Certified Public Manager program at KU. She has experience in budgeting as well as grant administration. Based on this experience that she brings to this position, I would like to offer her a position at Step 11 due to all this experience. We did not have any internal candidates for this position, and it's a pretty specialized area. So this position would, at Step 11, would be compensated at $72,228.53. And then you also have the amount there including benefits. So I would be happy to answer any questions.
I'll move to approve the request.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Okay,
Thank you, Betty. Next item, please.
Item J, Human Resources, number 1, consider appointment of the Director of the Health Department for salary to be determined and a resolution to follow.
Good morning, Commissioners. Angela Lewis with Human Resources. We've conducted interviews for the Director of the Health Department, and I'd like to ask you to consider appointing Linda Ochs, who is serving as the interim, as the permanent Director of the Health Department.
Well, she needs to make a public appearance, I think.
Linda, would you please come up? Linda is a graduate of Kansas State University with a bachelor's in social work. She also has a master's in social work from Washburn University. She's been employed with the county since 2001, and she's most recently served as the interim director for the health department since May of 2017. She's a co-founder of the Shawnee County Suicide Prevention Coalition. She's received the Kansas Immunization Coalition Recognition Award and the Kansas Health Association Jane Addams Award for social work. I'd like you to consider her appointment.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the opportunity of serving as the interim. I mean, as I said to all of you, how many people get the chance to really try on a position to see if the fit is right for you and for me? So I've really enjoyed the time, and I'm looking forward to really working on improving the health of Shawnee County. As I said in my interview, health is everything. Health is economic development, health is in everything, and so that is my philosophy. I've had 26 years in public health. I had 10 years in Salina before moving here, so I'm excited for this next phase, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think the commissioners are excited and looking forward to working with you also, Linda. Any comments or questions?
I'm going to move approval.
Thank you.
I thought you might.
Well, and just, I know that you have great plans for the health department and its many partners throughout our community. So I'm just very excited for you
Thank you.
to continue your work, but then to be official.
Very good.
All second, well qualified, and look forward to having you as the director. Also noting we balanced out hiring a KU grad with hiring a K-State grad. So
Go Cavs.
We need a Carolina grad back there. Motion made to approve the appointment by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Again, we're looking forward to it, Linda.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item K, Commission, number 1, consider appointment of the Silver Lake Township Treasurer.
Commissioner Bueller?
Well, Commissioners, I know we've had a chance to at least meet everyone who has applied for the position. I think that's probably important going forward, that we bring them to the commission meetings. I appreciate the willingness of those who want to serve. However, we can only choose one.
Yes.
But I would say to the others, I would encourage you to run for those township positions. Don't put the commission, I know this one was kind of unique, but we need people to run for the township positions. And so if there is better awareness of when those filing deadlines are, that sort of thing, we really want the township officials to determine, the constituents in those townships, to determine their elected officials, not us. So with that, I'll make a motion to appoint Mark Reed, and basically for his experience and his length of time in the township. So that would be a motion.
All second.
Motion made to appoint Mark Reed as the Silver Lake Township Treasurer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item K2, consider appointment of the Auburn Township Clerk.
And Commissioners, you know, this came about as a death of a township
Yes.
official, and so I would move to appoint Richard Kroll to serve that term, again, based on his experience and length of time in the township.
For the record, the name was?
Richard Kroll.
Cool. Okay.
All second.
Motion made to appoint Richard Kroll as the Auburn Township Clerk by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz with the Kansas Expo Center, Inspector of Venue Management. I wanted to give a brief update on last week's Big Church Night Out with the Newsboys. That event did just under 2,000 people, which might not be to our standard, but certainly was well enough with the promoter that we are actively looking at getting additional content, contemporary Christian content, back to the Expo Center mid next year. So hopefully some big event announcements coming out on those events coming forth. Upcoming events this weekend is Roadrunners Hockey. Comes back to the facility tomorrow night and Saturday night at 7:05 p.m. It is their Pink in the Rink Breast Cancer Awareness Weekend, so some funding and contributions from ticket sales will go to breast cancer awareness funding for the month of October. The Hunter Jumper Association Equine Show will also be taking place Friday through Sunday at the Domer Arena. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Commissioners, Tom Block, Public Works and Solid Waste. I have a few items I want to mention. First of all, as you're aware, we did the contractor at the Willard Bridge did their first implosion to bring down the old bridge yesterday. There were some folks which, understandably, were not real thrilled that we did not make a public announcement about that. But after many discussions with the contractor, it all came down to public safety. Our contractor, who has sole responsibility of that construction site and carries the liability for that event as it goes on, was very, very leery about having droves of people come out to watch it. And when the contractor tells you that these discharge cords, when they explode, travel at a velocity of 27,000 feet per second, you can understand why they're a little bit nervous. That's 18,000 miles per hour. So you can understand their being leery about having potentially, because we know there's a lot of interest in this project, being able to control people within 1,500 foot radius. Even yesterday, without it being publicized, there was someone right before the blast that they noticed, like walking up the river on the sandbar. So it's pretty nerve-wracking, I can tell you that. But anyway, they are imploding the bridge in 2 different phases. There will be a second one coming up in here in a couple weeks. I don't know if we will announce that one. Likely we won't again. We do let those that need to know that are in the impacted area, and that happened yesterday. Sheriffs were there, and I appreciate their assistance in traffic control. Those folks in Willard were notified. But this truly is an exercise on a need-to-know basis, just for public safety reasons. So even though I know some people were not real thrilled that we didn't make it public, I think we made the right decision. So I just wanted to let you know that. Secondly, on Monday, our crews, we're going to be beginning the mill and overlay project for Northeast 46th Street from Meriden Road on the north leg, eastward towards Sherman Road, I believe it is. Yeah, Sherman Road, which is essentially the county line. Monday, Bettis Asphalt is going to be doing the milling for us. That will probably take a couple days. We might do a cleanup, and then our crews will come in and put in a 2-inch overlay over that, and we anticipate it will take, the whole project should take about 2 weeks. So that will begin on Monday at 7 in the morning. And then lastly, on Saturday, as being the first Saturday of the month, our household hazardous waste facility will be open from 9 to noon to collect free of charge any household hazardous waste, again, including paints, herbicides, pesticides, old batteries, light bulbs, furniture polishes, all things of that nature, oil, and that is located at 131 Northeast 46th Street. Again, that's about a quarter mile east of the roundabout at 46th and North Topeka Boulevard on the south side of the road. So,
Commissioner Cook.
On the Willard Bridge, now that it's partially in the river, we're pulling it out. Is what's
yes,
going to happen?
they will. Our contractor will be removing anything that fell into the water, and ultimately they'll be removing the piers also. So yes, it will be removed. And also, just to point out, if we believe the contractor took video, and there's video on Facebook from some folks, but if we get video from the contractor, we will provide that to any, we'll post it or provide it to any media outlets that may want it. But in viewing that video, we did have a view from actually looking north, so you can see to the west and to the east, and you will see splashes of material, I would say upwards of, I would guess, nearing 1,000 feet away from the bridge. So that is why it's really a concern to the contractor and to us when these type of events go on. That material, said with the force that is being exerted, that material can can fly quite a ways, and granted, they make precautions to keep that from, to minimize that, but you just hope that nothing goes wrong.
And everything fell where it was supposed to fall, and everything's good?
Yes, this first time, yes. And the bridge is still standing. The new bridge is still standing.
But it is really close to the old bridge.
Yeah, it's like
and
8,
so
it's like 8 feet.
What
or
precautions do they take to not have anything go over
They have,
the new bridge?
put like backer boards on them, and essentially, it's quite interesting. I'll see if I can explain it, but essentially what they do is they attach like a 1x1, like a little angle iron on it, and they attach it at an angle to the portion of the members of the bridge they're trying to cut. And when it explodes, it inverts itself. So if you have like a V, I can't do it, a V like that, it inverts itself and then just cuts through the steel. And it's amazing how clean of a cut that steel is. It's not ragged. It is like you just took a laser and just cut it. But that just goes to show the tremendous force in how quickly it happens. And you just, believe me, you want as few people around as possible. I mean, it.
Pretty small section that went down yesterday.
Yeah.
So, they've taken off all the concrete barriers. They've taken off the steel decking. So
They really minimize what's actually being
what's going
imploded. You're right. A lot of the bridge that was there was taken off beforehand, and this is just basically the trusses that are being knocked down. So,
Very good.
all right.
Thank you, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Ochs from the Health Department. One more time. I am pleased to announce that we have basically improved the lactation room here at the courthouse and made it now, it's open, it's available to any employees who would like to use it. This is the furniture that we had at the Health Department that we weren't using, so we brought over to use for the room. And then this is the sign. It's on the 3rd floor, room 318. So it is there and available, and I want to especially thank Bill Kroll. He's the one who really worked with me to get this accomplished. So we have it. It's available for the public and for employees of the courthouse.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any others for administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller.
I don't think I have anything else to add other than it's Columbus Day, but we are in session. The courts are closed, but we are in session on Monday. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Cook.
I know there's weather anticipation for the weekend, but there's still a lot of festivals, including out at the lake with the Easter seals, and hopefully the weather will hold off a little bit so they can have their first event out at the lake.
Very good. Thank you.
If I might add.
Yes, of
Thanks
course.
for the reminder. Auburn has their fair, I think, this weekend, and Rossville also has a fall festival. So, yeah, you're right.
This
There's a
weekend.
lot going on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot going on. I don't have anything to add this morning, so next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need for an executive session, so we're adjourned. Thank you for coming.